Hello together and welcome back to the weekend update on the financial markets. My name is still Jens and we are working through today to S&P 500, US oil, gold and Bitcoin. And like always, I start with a weekly time frame and we walk all the way down to the daily and 4-hour time frame so that you know what to do in the markets and what are my moves that I'm personally taking. Stay tuned and I got a small special for you where I need your opinion in the end of the video. S&P 500 on a weekly time frame, we can see we are above the 200 moving average, weekly solid uptrend line, and we left behind the all-time high from January 2022. Since then, we are making continuously new all-time highs. The last correction was a bit heavier than expected, but the bad news scenario got bought pretty fast, and now we are seeing a good movement to the upside, which could be the leg of the next weekly impulse to the upside. And for that reason, this would be the low, because of that, the arrow. The bad scenario would be that we are not able to make a new all-time high, but more like a double top scenario. And from there, the market rolls over to the downside and we see lower prices to this weekly uptrend line and the weekly support and resistance zone. And from there on, a price recovery and new impulses to the upside from there on. That would be the worst case scenario. It's, in my view, not the most likely one, but so that you hear from it and have it in your mind if it comes to a situation similar to that. Let's drop down to the daily time frame to analyze the more likely scenarios. We can see that we are above the daily solid downtrend line. That is the reason for my bullish view that we will see in future new impulses to the upside and higher prices. But before that, I would like to see a bit of a correction. We have seen here a correction. I will show you later at the 4-hour time frame what we can do with that, because you can build around that also a short-term trading setup. But my favorite scenario would be that we will see a little bit more of a correction, something like that, and from there then higher prices. Then I will be able to draw a downtrend line, the break of the downtrend, the retest, and the break of the retest to the upside. That will be my entry point. My stop loss would be below this structure and take profit, a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio away. That would be my favorite scenario. We will see if the market is willing to give me that. You will probably know in my next weekend report. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's switch to the 4-hour time frame for the scenario you can trade already or beginning with next week if you like to. It's a little bit more risky. The entry point would be if we make a new high here. The stop loss would be below structure, and the risk reward ratio I would choose 1.5 to 1 and not risking more than 1% of your trading capital with this trade, because the way is pretty short here and you're easily stopped out if we see my most favorable, not most likely, but most favorable scenario that we will get a little bit larger correction. MACD is also getting lower and lower. With those, compared to the historical data, we are also really high. So across to the downside, not that unlikely. And for that, the probability of a little bit larger setback before continuing the overall uptrend, not that unlikely. Yeah, that are the two scenarios, or three if you count the really bearish one I showed you in the beginning with Intuit. 3 scenarios for S&P 500. That's it. And let's switch to US oil. US oil weekly time frame, we can see that we have a red monthly solid downtrend line that got broken to the upside. After that, we moved inside a weekly consolidation zone marked by this weekly solid orange downtrend line that got broken to the upside, which is normally a bullish sign, and I'm since then waiting for bullish trading opportunities. Price got in the past supported by the 200 moving average, but now we are below the 200 moving average and we have seen a big weekly red wick to the upside, which is also a bearish signal. So let's see and analyze it further in the daily time frame. In the daily time frame, you can see that price moved inside this triangle and these two lines got respected pretty often. Then after the bad news event, we broke a little bit below it, and I thought it's probably a fake out because we recovered that fast from it to the midpoint of the triangle. But now we have seen a lower low, which is normally a bearish sign if we see a breakout of such a formation, and then we will continue further, probably down to the last weekly support and resistance zone. On the other hand, we got a bullish signal from the MACD indicator because MACD is creating higher lows while price is creating lower lows, and that's a divergence. So normally we will see higher prices after such a divergence. So we got mixed signals here, and because of that we have to prepare for both scenarios, and the right way is to look at it at the 4-hour time frame. Here you can also see my last trading setup where I entered a long trade. It's all discussed in my last weekend update report. You can go back into my channel and rewatch it if you like to. And yeah, it nearly hit take profit. Then I moved my stop loss to my entry point. Price moved against me, stopped me out, but I haven't lost money because I moved the stop loss to the entry level. You can see it also in the paper trading here. Let's search for US oil. Yeah, here closing long position US oil. I made a small profit, paid a little bit more commission, so I made a really small loss. Not worth mentioning. Yeah, so a 0 trade on US oil. Let's delete that one. Yeah, now we have a breakout above a 4-hour secondary downtrend line. Now the scenario could be that we will see a pullback, a break of the pullback to the upside, and from there again higher prices maybe to the upper range of this triangle. That would be the bullish scenario, and I would trade it like the following. I would wait for a setback, would put my entry level above the high of the setback and the stop loss at the low of the setback, and then trade it all the way up to reasonably risk reward ratio. Maybe if I want to be conservative, I will put the stop loss below this point because that's an A, B, C, and that will be below point B, and so a little bit more secured stop loss, and then would be willing to risk a little bit more of my trading capital with this kind of stop loss. That's the bullish scenario. The bearish scenario would look like the following. We also have seen here the high or something around that area. That's you have to adjust the strategy if you see how price develops on Monday and Tuesday. Let's say that would be the high. We break below point B of this A, B, C. We break below of point B. That would be the entry, and then lower prices into the direction of this weekly support and resistance zone. My entry point, like I said, would be below point B. Probably I would like to see a retest and a break of the retest to the downside. Then I would choose my stop loss above structure, and then my take profit on reasonably risk reward ratio, probably 2-to-1 risk reward ratio would be a good one, and that would be my short trade on US oil. So we got mixed signals, 2 scenarios. You have to adapt. We react to price and not try to guess it. And yeah, that's it for US oil. I wish you good luck with it, and you will see what I have done on my next weekend report. If you got any questions or other ideas, drop them down into the comment section and I will watch them all and reply to them. Let's go to another asset, gold against the US dollar. Gold on a weekly time frame, we can see we are in a bullish uptrend. We are above the weekly and the monthly uptrend line. We have been able to break above an often tested resistance zone, and from there on we rise pretty fast to the upside. After that, on the daily time frame, you can see it better. We got a small consolidation zone with a secondary white dotted uptrend line, and yeah, in the last report I already discussed the breakout out of this consolidation zone to the upside, and that this is a bullish scenario, and I also traded that one. We can have a look on the 4-hour time frame on it. Here was the entry point after this break to the upside of the blue dotted downtrend line, and the stop loss was below structure of the last. It was a little bit like a triangle, looked a bit like this, and I placed my stop loss below this triangle, and you can see how beautiful these lines got respected by price. Here it was resistance, here it turned support. Beautiful. So nobody should tell me that price analyzation doesn't work. You just have to know how to use it. And yeah, I have chosen a 2.1 to 1 risk reward ratio, and that went all the way up into my take profit. But I moved at that point here, I think it was, I moved my stop loss to the entry so that like a US oil price moves against me, I'm not closing with a loss. Yeah, we can also have a look on this trade. Here we closed the long position in in gold against US dollar with a loss of 4,860 US dollars, or in this account 4.8% in profit. And yeah, so at the moment we are in profit with the overall account around 5%, which isn't a bad thing in my view. Yeah, let's delete this one so we got a clearer view on the overall gold price development. Like I showed you here, this line got pretty well respected, and we have seen a retest of the line at this point. And we could also draw a daily 4-hour blue dotted downtrend line here that got broken to the upside. A possible trading scenario would be the following. We wait for a small setback and then trade the break to the upside with a stop loss below structure to the upside, and would maybe choose a 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio again. In this case, I would only risk 1% of my trading capital for that, because it's again a little bit more risky trade. I probably will not take this one because I think that we will maybe see another move. I believe that we will see another move, but I'm not sure if I'm able to catch that one perfectly. And the rule number 1 is not to lose money and only choose the trades you're as sure as possible about. And yeah, I think we will see this one and then a future correction, maybe back down to this white dotted secondary uptrend line. And from there on, I would like to trade the breakout to the upside again. Yeah, but you can do it. The bad scenario would be that, let's change to automatic view here, that we will see a break below this formation here, inside this range again, a retest, a break of the retest, and then all the way down to this level here, and from there on, again, higher prices. That would be the worst scenario in my view. The worst scenario would that we also break below this one, and then all the way back down to the last weekly support and resistance zones and uptrend lines. But that's a really unlikely scenario in my mind. So let's concentrate on the bullish side of this market. And yeah, if you want, you can take this a little bit more aggressive long trade, or you wait like me for the move to the upside, a huger correction to the downside, and then trade the trend again to the upside with a good risk reward ratio and proper risk management. We have got a good profitable trade in this gold market, so I want to stay calm in it and concentrate on the other 3 assets till I see a really good opportunity in gold. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch all my weekend updates, then I'm sure you will get informed about it pretty well, and you got also the opportunity to profit from it. Let's go one further to Bitcoin against the US dollar. Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, we can see that Bitcoin was able to make a new all-time high, but after that it was a hard time for Bitcoin. We have seen lower lows, and yeah, I think this was the lowest low after that news event, and since then we are recovering to the upside. And yeah, we are still below this weekly solid orange uptrend line, and I can only change that one if we see a new all-time high. That could take a while, so let's concentrate on the daily time frame for a moment. Here we can see a price channel marked by this white dotted lines. Price is respecting this price channel pretty well, and we also have here 2 support and resistance zones on the daily time frame, where price also bounced a couple times in both directions, or at least here in both directions. This one was so far only resistance. So we have seen a divergence in the MACD and price that was speaking for higher prices, and so price did. It went all the way back up to this daily support and resistance zone was consolidating here a little bit, made some of a kind of a downtrend and broke it to the upside. That we can see it a little bit better on the 4-hour time frame. Here was able to draw this 4-hour blue dotted downtrend line. I got another one drawn here the first time, but we haven't seen new all-time or new highs here. So price wasn't able to exceed this point, so I wasn't getting into this trade. Stop loss would have been in this case below that point. And I told you in my last weekend update that I probably will not take this trade. Ta-da! I did take this trade, but with only 1% 1% of my capital at risk with this trade. And I also not placed the stop loss all the way below structure, but at the point where I have seen a change in structure, because we have seen from there on higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. And so I placed below that because here we got these 2 points. It's also not the worst support zone for price. So if we see price below that, I want to be out of this trade with, in this case, 1% in losing position. My entry was above this point like the last time. And yeah, a couple days ago, we went into this trade. At the moment, 0.4% in profit. I only got a 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio here because that's the upper line of this price channel. And I'm not sure if we will see directly a breakout of this price channel. So I placed here my take profit in case we will reverse here again. Yeah, probably because we are seeing a small pullback here, if we will see a new high here, so getting above this pullback, I would probably say that this is the new support structure. If we get higher and then come back down, price should stop declining here before going into my take profit. And so I would like to move my stop loss to the entry point at that point, and either price runs in profit or I will get stopped out without a real loss. Yeah, that's risk management. First, try not to lose a trade, then think about winning trades. I think that's a good strategy that worked well in the past for me, so it will probably also work for you. But make research by yourself and decisions by yourself, because it's your money, not mine. And yeah, I'm just showing you how I work with these financial markets and tools, and I'm hoping it's useful for you. Like I said, I have a little bit special for you. Yeah, I want to hear your opinion. If you would like me to also analyze for you at the end of every weekend update report a stock I find interesting via chart technique analyzation, for example, something like this, Fastenal company. I was getting into a long position after seeing a breakout of a downtrend. It was a retest to the last all-time high, stop loss below structure, take profit at a reasonable risk reward ratio, like you already know it from my trading in the main 4 assets I'm trading. Makita, Japanese company, tool producer, a little bit older this trade, but still in profit, not yet take profit, but I'm sure that will be also the case at some point. Tesla, just a trade I opened this week, and stop loss again below structure, take profit, last reasonable high. McDonald's, a trade that went last week or this week in take profit. Yeah, this kind of trades, if you are interested also in that, beside the main 4 assets I'm trading with my paper trading account, if I'm going into a trade like this, I would put it at the end of the weekend update report, short update on stocks. And yeah, drop it down in the comment if you want me to cover that. If there's no interest, I would keep that for myself and share it with my buddies who I'm talking a lot about these topics. Otherwise, maybe I will think, if you say you are pretty much interested in it, maybe we'll make another series where I only talk about single stock trading, because it's a little bit different than trading these 4 main assets, the overall market. Yeah, I wait for your comments, and we hear and see us next weekend. Bye bye.